Happy Sunday. This is Bobby and JJ Radio. We have actually one of my oldest friends in the real estate industry, Mr.
Actually,
Chris.
he's the first person I met.
Me too.
When I was, do you remember this? I was getting my license.
Yeah,
I do.
I was getting my license.
Let me introduce this guy. His name is Chris De La Garza. He's with EXP Realty. He was with us a couple years ago at Keller City View, but he was definitely, I think, the first guy that I met.
He's the first guy I met in real estate, for sure. I was taking my classes.
He was just as handsome, had a little bit less gray hair, and that was about it. But he's been in the industry for about the same time as us, right? About 14 years now?
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take 14 years. This guy's very accomplished in the industry. He has accolades going throughout the entire decade and a half in the industry. You come from a completely different background. Let's talk about your journey in real estate. What got you into real estate in general, and how's it been so far?
So what got me into real estate is kind of a funny story. I was in the middle, I hadn't gotten licensed yet, and I was in the middle of trying to flip a house because that's when it just had started getting popular. Mm-hmm. And was going through it, and I had hired an agent to help me with it. And unfortunately, I looked at this guy, and albeit he was a pretty good agent, I was like, man, this doesn't seem really complicated, and he's taking a lot of my profits away. So that was the whole reason I got into real estate, was to reduce my overhead for my flipping business.
Bobby has a similar story, I think.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But is that guy still in the business? Mine's not.
He is in a more managerial broker role versus
Loser.
actually
I'm
an
just
agent.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who it is.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I got in. I got in for real estate to reduce my overhead, and then realized that I really enjoyed the process of helping other people.
For sure.
And just kind of took off with it.
So let's talk about that a little bit. It's a transitional situation there. So you were on the opposite side of the you're the guy that went into houses and then flipped them. And how do you feel that's helped you on this side, on the retail side of real estate?
It's been tremendous, specifically for my clients over the years, because I'm not the guy that calls, fascia the whatchamacallit, or, when there's a roofing issue, everybody wants to freak out and go, oh, the deal's dead, where I like to educate my clients and say, hey, this isn't a big deal and this is why.
Right.
So over the years, it's really been tremendous from an educational standpoint, for my customers and my clients feeling comfortable and being able to make more of an educated decision based off information versus an emotional decision.
Yeah, and I'm sure that obviously we have inspectors that go and do it, but those things inspection reports look like...
Oh, they're super overwhelming.
They're scary.
They're scary. I think
it's like the news. They only tell you the bad stuff.
Absolutely.
I've never heard that before.
It's kind of like getting a report from the doctor.
Yeah.
You don't want to read it.
They don't say, hey, you have a really good,
You're looking
vitamin
good.
D count. Your vitamin
good.
D count's through the roof.
Yeah.
No, they actually don't do that. Yeah, so it definitely is like that. And so how much do you feel that your duties as a real estate agent is educating? Like, what I've always told people, I've never sold a house. I've only sold my services.
I agree. I say the same thing. There's no salesmanship in the process that I do. Everything's educational. So as I warm up with all of my clients on the first face-to-face, I tell them at no point will I ever sell you anything. At any point you feel like you're being sold, you need to let me know, because I'm not doing my job.
For sure.
My job is just to educate you on all of your options so that you can make a sound, informed decision, period.
For sure.
So we start using that.
No, we're going to steal that one. Hey, so we've seen...
Copyrighted.
Speaking of which, so we've seen you in the game come up. You've done... I like that you've done a lot of the different levels. I've seen you in the luxury market. You're a broker as well, right?
Correct.
So talk about your journey. So what were the highs and the lows in the last 14 years, and what did you learn?
So, back, we all remember this in the wonderful year of 2008 is when I made a big change, and that's actually at the time where I opened up my own construction company for a period of 5 years. So that was a pretty big change for me, being that I had to wear a different hat, albeit I thoroughly enjoyed construction and grew it to a very large level. I took my real estate hat off for a little while and went the road at that point of being a broker and bringing on agents. And actually at that time opened up my own real estate company.
I remember, yeah.
So
it's a tough time to do it, by the way.
It was an absolute tough time to do it, but because my construction business was going so well, it gave me the opportunity to kind of play away with the business model and learn all the ins and outs from the ownership role, without having the stresses of the traditional way, without having that background from the construction company. I was actually able to cross-market my clients. That's where it really became helpful. So that was one of the lower parts, kind of rebuilding, doing everything from scratch. And then as, I decided that I really wanted to get back into real estate, I sold my construction company and went back and said, this is the time I want to kind of spread my wings a little bit and do something different inside the real estate realm. And that's when I decided to go into luxury and linked up with another very prominent agent here in town who happened to be, at the top of her game in luxury, and was able to actually help with the managing and training of her agents as well as the marketing aspect, which was one of my backgrounds. And got to see what the other, side of the spectrum looked like as far as, listings over $1 million plus, which is, as you guys know, it being in the industry in San Antonio is very high end for San Antonio.
Right.
And hard to break into.
Very, very difficult to break into. Prior to linking up with her, I probably had only done 5 transactions in that realm in my whole career at that point. After that, I got a handful of them into my portfolio, met a lot more agents, started learning and understanding the networking aspect of the higher end real estate, and really enjoyed it. At that next point, that's when, after I felt like I had learned what I could learn at that point, decided to make a big change, and that's when I changed over to EXP.
Sure.
And the main reason for EXP being that it was a completely different business model that had never been seen before in the industry, being that they were a publicly traded company. They had no brick and mortar anywhere in the United States, and their whole thing was multiple streams of income versus just one stream of income.
Right. I love it. Well, we've seen you flourish and expand. We love to see that, obviously, because we all started together. Chris De La Garza is a juggernaut. I don't know how he got this website. He must have just been the first dude ever. But you can find him at mytexashomes.com.
I was paying for a while. I forgot 1 month.
Did you forget?
I did slide for 1 month and he jumped
took
on
it from you on GoDaddy.
Yeah, I got a smoking deal on it too.
mytexashomes.com, or you can call him or text him at 210-837-9718. Again, that's 837-9718. Take a quick break. Be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.